What's going on, everybody? This is Ben Codes. We're back day 10. We're back again with well with JavaScript and arrays, objects and arrays. As I was doing my fatherly duties, one thing that became really apparent to me that is, I've been studying it, but I haven't actually been retaining it, right? So it's about going through. At some point, I was going through the motions. Do I understand it? To a degree. I understand what arrays. Arrays are like lists, and inside of the list is an element. Um, and with objects, you define it by essentially like the declaration part of a variable, and then you assign it within curly brackets, whatever properties it's supposed to have. And so that's essentially an object. Where I got confused last time, why it was beating me up so bad, was using the methods that come along with it. I know they exist, and I wasn't too keen on how to use them. But looking at it now, like you put a period and then insert the method or that goes to it. So I understand that now. Um, so that's pretty much what the explanation of them that that I got now. As long as I've been doing spatial repetition and all of that, although I haven't been streaming. So welcome back to everybody, you know, uh, including me back to streaming. And apparently there's something that I know I can't find my glasses. That's why it's uh probably a little different and a shaved. Anyway, but so yeah, when it came to having like a streaming fatigue, apparently I just like being laid back, stuff like that. There's other things to be concerned about, especially pertaining to like being a parent, a husband, things like that. So there's many um concerns that have to be addressed, and sometimes that takes me off of whatever wave I'm on, right? So so let's talk consistency, right? Because so far you would see my streams and you would think, he says he's going to code every day. I do. The thing is, I may not stream it every day, which is why I have the Discord. And you can go into the Discord and you can see whether I'm in Discord or whether I'm off Discord. It just depends. Oop. It just depends. So, on what I got going on top of figuring out how all this stream thingy works, right? So learning multiple things at one time, uh, and it's giving me some sort of fatigue as far as being in front of the camera and whatnot. Although it may seem I don't have any relative issues. Um, so motivation, I'm not really too keen on waiting on motivation. Personally, I don't care whether I'm motivated to do it or not. Uh, which goes into, sometimes you fall into you just going through the motion, right? The thing that makes me, and it makes you remember your why, but sometimes the why isn't strong enough. And that isn't because of, because that's just emotional. But for someone like me, um, emotions are irrelevant. Like that completely doesn't matter. Um, so wanting to go through and develop the skills as a software engineer or a full stack software engineer, emotionally, yes, I absolutely look forward to. So what happens to when that fire is gone? When it starts being dreary emotionally, is your why gonna hold up? Maybe it works for you. That does not work for me. So instead of a why, it's a what, right? My what is more powerful. So what do I want to do with um, with being a full stack uh, software engineer. My what is building amazing stuff. I don't know what in the world. Thank you. And exit. I just got a new printer. I literally just set it up. So yeah, my what? My what is to be able to create. That's my what. I've always wanted to create things. What do I want to create? I want to create things that are helpful to others. As a father, I have twin boys, right? And an older daughter. For her, math is difficult. Yes, there's a bunch of stuff out here, but nothing seems to click with her. So I want to create something for that. That's one stage of my what. The other one, since I brought up my twin boys, one is autistic. So it takes me off of, if you're seeing my streams and you see like he's consistent sometimes, sometimes he's not. Listen, at the end of the day, like I have to take care of whatever's going on with my family. All that I do is for them, but also including me. Never forget yourself, right? So, um, the what? That's my what. My what is creating something for my autistic son, to help him not just have a routine that I build around him, but eventually he's got to become an adult, and what would be out there to help him. So that's something, looking long term. That's my what. If it works for other people, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. If it doesn't and it only helps my son, so be it. So be it. But I'm sure, I'm just one of I'm just one person out of billions of people. So what do I know? Right? So it's a lot. It's just a lot to think of. Hey, Rookie the Ninja, what's going on? Celestina Trust. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? So yeah, that's what I got going on right now. Yeah. So, all right, into it we go. As you know, I'm learning through okay. As you know, I'm learning from the 100 devs way of learning. There's nothing wrong with doing it any other way, right? Um, whether you are, that's weird. That's weird. It's saying something's wrong. I mean, I mean, I see me here. More than one ingestion is using the primary URL. Huh. Why is it more than one? That's odd. That should fix it. See, and it keeps creating a crazy delay. I don't even know why. And I changed the delay. Anyway, so I apologize to y'all if y'all have y'all watching, and yo, T, what's going on? Um so yeah, y'all could catch me here. Anyway, I'm learning from the 100 devs way of learning. It's completely free. And it is job orientated. So I have no clue as to why. Anyway, so yeah, I learned from the 100 devs way of learning, and so moving forward, we're going to yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Last I remember, I have a note, which is this big thing up here. I have a note. My note is it's like more than 20 seconds. So in my note, where did we stop at? Where did we stop? 21 2:30. All right, so we're almost done with it then. All right, let's get into it. I can't show it for I don't have permissions to show it, so I do apologize, but here we go.
Today's the day, folks. Let's go. We online.
I'm gonna pull up the slides too. That way we all can follow along together.
We'll let it go. We'll let it go tonight. Oh.
2:30.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're coming from. Hope you are doing well. Some numbers.
All right. Now we're back on track.
Some second, low, and high. And let's pass in some numbers. Let's pass in, let's just do, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but let's mix them. 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's do 1, 5, 4. There we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all mixed up. And so if we want the second highest and lowest, we should see 2 and 4 be added together for 6. So if this works, we should have 6. So let's save this. Let's go back.
Yeah, this is the one he's in.
I should have my sword printed already. This would have been fire. Had that sword up there. Oh, that would have been legit. All right.
Y'all let me know if the ducking's working. Oh, it's working. I'm on.
And we can see the 6 gets alerted, right? So it worked. The 2 and the 4 got added together. We got the 6 alerted. Beautiful. All right. So we saw some sorting. We used the knowledge of our indexes to grab the second lowest and the second highest. We added them together and then we alerted them. Beautiful. Thank you, Enlightened. That's beautiful to hear. Brooke, that's awesome to hear. Cool.
Y'all give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
I owe a stretch. So let me do my stretch. You know, if you want that good content, you gotta start YOLOing some more channel points to get the OF. 1 second.
I guess it wasn't all good timing. So he's stretching. I'm stretching. Seeing what my kids want, to be honest.
Yeah. Alrighty, folks. We got through some review. If you want to see more, if you want to see more of these types of practices where we're using more methods, we're using arrow functions, we're starting to like do things in slightly different ways, and you want to see me review it with regular functions and then try it with the arrow functions, come Sunday. Sunday, we're going to do some questions like always, but we're going to spend a lot of time with methods. So if you want to come back and see these methods, you want to see more arrow functions, let's do that review on Sunday together. Hippie Sue, hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you for being here. Alrighty. Let's get to the goods today, folks. The goods are objects. So, objects are really the last puzzle piece that we need to kind of start building some really dope stuff. Once we understand objects, your mind, you become enlightened in terms of JavaScript. There's gonna be we're gonna set some things up today then I am literally going to blow your mind on Thursday. Like, your mind will be obliterated on Thursday in the best way possible. So we're gonna touch on objects right now, get the juices flowing, and then come Thursday, just mind explosion. So let's get into it. The wonderful thing about JavaScript is that every single thing is a what?
Is an object.
Is an object. Keep that thought in your mind. Every single thing is an object. Keep that in your mind. What objects are collections of variables and functions. If you look at an object, all it really is a collection of variables and functions, just like the variables and functions that we've already seen. And these variables and functions, they represent the attributes and the behavior of that object. Now, when we're talking about objects, we call the attributes properties, and we call those functions, we call those methods. So the variables we call properties, and the functions we call methods. The attributes we would call our properties, and the behaviors we would call our methods. And so at first it's kind of hard to wrap our brain around. So let's think of an actual physical object, like something that we could really think of, right? For me right now, I am thinking of my water bottle. So I have a nice Nalgene bottle here full of delicious ice water. One second. Now, this water bottle has some attributes and behaviors. It has some properties and some methods. What is an attribute of this water bottle?
It's round.
A lid color of
Black. You might can't see it, but
full property of 50%.
It's not up here.
60%. It has a shape property of cylinder. It has a brand of Nalgene, right? So we can think of all these different physical attributes that describe this water bottle, right? Not only its shape and color, but also kind of like how full it is, like all the different things we could use to describe the attributes of this water bottle. Now, what are some of the behaviors of this water bottle? What's something that it can do?
You failed.
Open, right? Make you pee. It can open and close, open and close. So there are attributes that describe this water bottle, but there are also behaviors that describe this water bottle, like opening and closing. Beautiful. Let's continue this train of thought with an object that we can all think about. And let's think about a stopwatch. What are some attributes of this stopwatch? This is a physical object that has some attributes. What are some attributes of this stopwatch? Now, don't throw out the value. A lot of folks are throwing out the value. This has a color attribute that has a value of black. We wouldn't say the attribute is black. We would say that the color attribute is black. How about the shape attribute? The shape attribute is round. The brand attribute is AccuSplit. The model attribute is Pro Survivor. The minutes attribute is set to 3. The seconds attribute is set to 59. Hey, thank you for the hype train, everybody. The milliseconds property or attribute is set to 45. So we can think about a physical stopwatch and think through all these attributes of this object. Yeah, its shape, its brand, its color, all these different things that make up the physical attributes of this object. But a stopwatch also has some behaviors. What are some behaviors of this stopwatch?
And it can start time and stop time. Well, start and stop.
Yeah, it
And
can
count.
start, it can stop, it can split, it can beep, right? So there are a lot of behaviors that this stopwatch has. And so when we think about physical objects, we can think about their attributes and we can think about their behaviors. And when we think about these objects, it's the same thing when it gets to code. Our objects in JavaScript are going to have some attributes and they're going to have some behaviors. When it comes to JavaScript objects, we call those attributes properties and we call those behaviors methods. And underneath the hood, our properties are really just variables. Color equals this, shape equals this. And our methods are really just functions, sets of instructions. So when you think of objects in terms of JavaScript, just think of regular old objects in regular meat space. They have properties and they have methods. You might have called them attributes and behaviors, but it's the same thing. When we look at the stopwatch, we can do the same exercise again, and we can say the color property is black, the brand property is AccuSplit, the minutes property is 3, the seconds property is 59, right? And we can say that the actual methods that this stopwatch object has is start, stop, split, beep, all these wonderful things. Cool. So here is what that actually looks like. We can create a object using literal notation. Just like we saw literal notation with an array using square brackets, we can literally create an object using curly braces. And so here I have created a stopwatch object using literal notation, which means curly braces. Then right here, I have set up current time, and current time is the first what on this stopwatch. Current time is a what. We talked about objects having two things. So current time is the first what? Yeah, it's the first property, right? It's the first property. The current time property is set to 12. Next, if we look at stopwatch, you can see that we're setting up tell time. And without having to really know too much about our objects, we know that tell time is a what? It's not a property, it's something else.
It's a method.
Yeah, it's a method. How do we know that tell time is a method? What's the dead giveaway that tell time is a method?
The dot.
It snitched on itself. Yeah, it's a function, right? Whenever you have an object and you're setting something about it to a function, dead stop, it's a method, right? As soon as you set tell time equal to a function, you have a method. So right off the bat, we can see that our objects can have properties like current time and methods like tell time. A property is going to be some value, and a tell time is going to be a value that is, our method is always going to be a value that is a function. So if you're ever looking at an object and you see it set equal to a function, you're going to call that a method. Anything else, we're going to call it a property. So the cool thing is we can use these properties and methods just like we would use any other variables and functions. And so once we have set up these properties and methods, we can start to use them. So here we have stopwatch.currentTime. Ignore this stuff here and ignore the parentheses. If you're just looking at stopwatch.currentTime, what does that equal? Stopwatch.currentTime equals what? Yeah, it equals 12. It's the same thing as slapping 12 in there because you can see we created our object and we gave it the current time property of 12. We can always ask for that property back from the stopwatch object by using this notation. Anybody know what kind of notation this is called? Has a very specific name. What type of notation is that? Did you get it from the reading? Yeah, it's called dot notation.
Dot notation.
We can use dot notation to add a property or add a method, but we can also use dot notation to consume. We can get the current time, right? So right here, we know that stopwatch that current time is the same thing as grabbing 12. So wherever I see stopwatch dot current time, it's the same thing as 12. Now, if we ignore this for a second and we look at tell time, how could we tell that tell time was a method even if we couldn't see it up here? In this instance, how could I tell that tell time was a method even if I didn't see the function above? Yeah, exactly. Tell time has the parentheses, right? So if we were to write this out, stop watch dot tell time, just the parentheses open and close, you can see that it has the parentheses. Whenever you see those parentheses, what is that? What is it? What are we trying to do?
Trying to
What are we trying
call a function. Call a function.
Exactly. We're trying to call. Whenever you see those parentheses, we're trying to make a function call. And so if we're making a function call and it's tied to something else, right? It's tied to something else, right? If we're trying to make a function call and it's tied to stopwatch, right? It's no longer just a function, it's a what? If we're trying to make that function call and it's tied to the stopwatch object, it's no longer just a function, it's a what?
It's a method.
It's a method. Exactly. When our functions are tied to objects, we call them methods. And when we have individual variables tied to our objects, we call those properties. So here we can see a property tied to our stopwatch object, and we can see a tell time method tied to our stopwatch object. Now, Shadow said, can you use current time inside the function? Heck yes, we can. Let me show you why. Right? Right, we can for sure. So stopwatch that current time evaluates to what?
12.
What does it evaluate to? It evaluates
12.
to 12. So what we wind up really doing is stopwatch tell time, but we pass in 12. We pass in 12. So that means we're going to pass 12 into tell time. So here's our function for tell time. That 12 gets passed in. Wherever I see time, I see 12. So console log, the current time is 12. And so that's how we can use the properties and the methods together, right? We can use the properties and methods together. We had one stopwatch object that came with a property and it came with a method. The property was the current time and the method was tell time. And we were able to use those together to start to do some cool stuff. We can run that tell time method and we can actually pass in the current time if we want. So objects are like customized methods. Well, you can think of objects having their own functions, which can be customized, and those are methods. All right, let's go ahead and try writing some code to make this make a little bit more sense. All right, let's try writing some code to make this make a little bit more sense. Let's look at the objects Zio. So if we go to objects here, we have Zio. And in this object Zio, I want you to create a stopwatch object that has 4 properties and 3
already completed this. That means I finished 21.
Create a
So
stopwatch
I'm actually on
4
22.
properties and 3 methods. I'm only going to give you 3 minutes.
Go figure.
3 minutes.
I must
to
not
try
have
and
recorded
figure this
that.
out. Look at
Yeah,
the
I rewatched it.
past,
Makes sense.
the past slide if you need to. So 3 minutes, then we're gonna go over it together. Stopwatch object has 4 properties and 3 methods. Try it, even if it's not making sense. Look at the slide and use your good old 100 devs try to make it look the same here.
I made a Frank Mueller. It's crazy.
3 minutes, go for it.
I'm funny. Big Frank Mueller. Nautical Miles. I know exactly what watch I'm talking about too.
Slide up so folks can see.
That I had first done.
4 properties. You can see adding a property here.
Let's see. Christian Codes was here for this. And he actually coded alongside. I must have did this offline, which is why it's not on my tracking sheet.
Daddy's home 420. Hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you.
Yeah. Everybody stopping by. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Don't forget to join the Discord. At first, I wasn't really going to advertise the Discord like that for other purposes, but please do go in the Discord. I'll be there.
2 minutes.
Coding and things as well. So come by, show some love, bring your memes. The best of memes. Now I figure out how to get rid of this delay.
Diego, you haven't sent me a whisper, Diego. So if we don't have your whisper, I'm gonna have to pick the raid.
No, let's it's ignoring it anyway, which could very well be the case. While they're doing it, I do understand this for the most part, so that's just for the sake of argument, make one. Const. Yeah, it's gonna constantly be a stopwatch. Rich watch. I don't even need to do that. Rich.
All right, folks,
Rich
45
watch.
seconds. You got this. Oh, we got some duns coming in. I'd like to see it.
It's because it's not a multi-line comment. It is now. Color blue. That's a string. Color blue. Just say 0.
Alrighty. 8 seconds. We're gonna go over it together. We're gonna maybe slightly blow your mind just a little bit before we get to Thursday's class.
0.
All right, let's come back. Let's go over this together.
Brand.
Alrighty. So
Richard.
I wanted a stopwatch object. So the first thing I need to do, right? The first thing I need to do is create the stopwatch object. So I'm going to go ahead and do let stopwatch equal, and then my curly braces. What type of notation did I just use, right? What notation did I just use to create the object?
I'm tripping.
Literal notation, exactly. I literally created the object. On Thursday, we'll see constructors and some other fun stuff, ways to create objects. Beautiful. So let's add 4 properties. I'm gonna imagine like a Nike stopwatch. So I'm gonna go ahead and say stopwatch dot brand equals Nike. Okay. Then stopwatch dot color let's keep it the same as the picture. We'll say black. And then, actually, I'm going to keep it lowercase so I don't get in trouble there. Stopwatch dot, what are some other properties that you all thought through? What are some other properties that you thought through? Shape, I like shape. Let's say shape equals round. And what else? Size, okay. Stopwatch dot size, and we can set it equal to medium. There we go, medium. We got our shape set to medium, and that's our 4 properties. And so the cool thing is, if we were to open this in the browser, right? If we were to open this in the browser, let's go ahead and open it. Let's go ahead and open it. All right, let's look in the inspector. Go to our console here.
I do that and then
It failed to load the image.
I call it.
It failed to load the image. Why didn't
Yeah,
it?
like I get that.
Anyway, we can ask for this stopwatch, right? Since we're in the console, we can ask for stopwatch. So if we type in stopwatch, you can see that we get back the stopwatch that we just created, right? We get back the stopwatch we just created. We have brand, color, shape, and size on the stopwatch that we created. So we can actually ask for stopwatch.brand and it would give us back Nike, right? We could ask for stopwatch.shape and get back round, because we declared the variable stopwatch and literally created an object. And then we added the properties one by one. We could, if we wanted to, as we create the object, have done brand and then did Nike, right? Then we could have done color and do black.
That's fair.
To get started with. So for what I did for now is I just literally declared my
Declared an object.
And then I did them all on individual lines so that I could actually see it. But you could actually do it all. If you did the reading, it could all be done inside of the curly braces if you want it. But this is readable for now, and we'll get to some other ways to do it later. All right, so we have our 4 properties, and then let's go ahead and create the methods.
Yep.
So the ones we kind of already said, I think I wanted to use. So
I already created my methods in the
and I'm going to set that equal to a
yeah,
what? If I want this
I've
to
already
be a
done that.
method, start has to be equal to what?
a function.
Has to be equal to a function. So I'll make this a function, and we're gonna say we're just gonna like console log starting.
Yep.
Starting. Boom. All right, console log starting. Wonderful. And then we're going to go ahead and do stop. I'm gonna just
See, like even now,
equals
like
function.
fatigue, because I'm, for one, I know I'm under the camera, or y'all are here, on and off, and y'all be seeing me on and off. No one ever really makes it this far, but
You could.
appreciate it if you did.
Stopping and then
Like, comment, subscribe, all of that.
so
All of that. Join the Discord.
I like beep. Or let's make it say something instead of beep. Stopwatch dot say brand. There we go. We'll set that equal to a function, and we'll console log. And what could I pass in here so that it says the brand? What could I do so that it says the brand?
Till they.
Hard code it. We can just hard code it for right now. We could eventually get to something called like this, but that's a little bit advanced for today. We could just say stopwatch dot brand, because we know that this right now, stopwatch dot brand, is Nike, right? So this would only work for this stopwatch, but eventually we'll get to this and it could be more interchangeable. All right, Let's go ahead and save all this. We got our 4 properties. We got our 3 methods. Looks good to me. Let's come back, look in the console, let's refresh. So if we ask for stopwatch, we can see everything that's stored in memory right now for stopwatch. We can see all of the brands, the colors, but we can also see these other things. In there. What else have we added to this stopwatch object that the console can show us? What have we added?
So yeah, I didn't save all of that. No save.
Exactly. We've added our methods. And so inside of the terminal, we can actually use these. We can do stopwatch dot size and get back medium. But let's try running some of the methods. Stopwatch dot start. If I just did this, something weird would happen. If I want my methods to run, what do I need? I want my methods to run. What do I need? I need my parentheses. So right now I don't have my parentheses. If I just hit enter, I get the function declaration back, right? I get the function declaration back, but it didn't actually run. It's just showing me what I have stored into memory, but it didn't actually run. If you want your methods to run, you have to use the parentheses. So boom, I hit enter now, and you can see it logged to the console starting, right? Logged to the console starting. And then we can also do the stay brand. So stopwatch that say brand. And once again, if I want it to run, I need my parentheses to make it a call. Boom. You can see that it console logged the brand, which was Nike. If I looked at stopwatch dot brand, it was Nike. So this method of say brand actually works. It said the brand that it was, which is Nike.
Yep.
Why does it say undefined? Because there was no return. It was expecting a return, and I didn't have a return in my methods. Don't worry about it yet. Yeah, that's something we'll get to later on. Cool. Alrighty. Cool. So we hit some things here. We have some properties that we can use on our objects, and we have some methods that we can use on our objects. Can I just just give me a few seconds here. I just want to tease your brain just a little bit, and then Thursday I'm gonna like blow it. All right. If we look back at some of the stuff we did earlier today, you're like, Leon, no. Look at back some of the stuff we did earlier today. Let's look at this one that we just did recently. Here I grabbed the length of sorted. What does length look like right now? Based on what we just learned tonight about objects, what does length look like? It looks like a property, but you're saying, Leon, sorted is a what though? Sorted is a what? Sorted is an array right here, but we're using length? Huh. Filter looks like a what? Let's get rid of
It's like a method.
Here. Filter looks like a what?
A method.
A method, huh? But it's working on an array. We've been seeing these properties and these methods since the beginning. We saw math.min, math.max. We saw toString. We saw some these methods and properties that we've been using this whole time. Interesting, I say. Interesting indeed. And that's because every single thing in JavaScript is an object. Doesn't matter if it's an array, a string, a whatever. Anything we've seen so far, it's all been a lie. It's all been objects this whole time. So on Thursday, we'll make that mind-bending idea come to life. We'll see how we can start to really use objects. We're gonna peek underneath the JavaScript hood and see how everything really is objects. Alrighty, folks. A huge thank you to everyone this evening. Hitting 100 jobs was a huge milestone, something I'm super proud of, and I'm super proud of this community every single day. You show up, you put in the work, you help
Yeah,
others.
what's going on?
Let's keep the positivity going. We're gonna go ahead and do a raid. The person that redeemed it didn't actually.
Okay, so
so I didn't see that.
now at this point, he finishes this class. I watched it. I'm gonna check it. There's two things. Well, I don't have to do them, but I am going to try to do it. And I think I've said that in a couple lives ago that I would try to do them, right? And then I get issued different homework here because I did do them. So, oh well. We're going to be on to just objects. Just objects. Next stream. Excited? I hope so. I'm excited. A little tired, hungry, excited. So, let's see. See what all else we got going on. Is what I'm really excited for is 23, 24, 25. Honestly, all of these up to 28, I'm pretty excited for the time being. And moving from there, we'll have us a marathon. Of course, like breaks and stuff like that, healthy things in between, you know. Because then we have a whole JavaScript like review, like other stuff we'll focus on for a little while, and then which I'll probably, I'm gonna do that offline. That's going to be in the Discord. Please like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. All that cool stuff, It's dope having y'all around. Feels kind of good to be back, but I am getting tired. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to break this up into pieces. That way we can all be here. Anyway, that about wraps up my hour. I'll be back later today. All right. Peace.